Tianjin is northern China's great coastal municipality. It borders Beijing to the northwest and the Bohai Sea to the east. To its west is the North China Plain, where a great number of canals and rivers converge, finally becoming the Haihe River, which flows into the sea at Tianjin. Because of these waterways' historical character, Haimen Bridge spanning the Haihe River in Tianjin city centre is a good place to begin a tour. From here, we'll move up the river to the old Tianjin railway station. Then, as night falls and the city lights up, we'll see the raising of the Jiefang Iron Bridge, opening its arms as if to welcome visitors. The first light of day brightens the sky over the Haihe River. Dawn is arriving in the port city of Tianjin. As early as 5 o'clock, the Haimen Bridge is already getting ready for its first arrival from sea. The Haimen Bridge is a vertical lift bridge. As the ship approaches, its central span rises 24 meters into the air. That makes enough room for the 5,000-ton cargo vessel to pass easily underneath. From here, the ship sails upstream into the city. Tianjin is now waking up in the morning sun. Following arriving trains, we now come to the city's main rail terminus. Tianjin railway station was first built 130 years ago. At that time, locals still used the traditional Chinese timekeeping system, with 1 hour equal to 2 of the hours we use today. Of course, departures and arrivals in a train station must be punctual down to the minute. And that's why here, as in every station, there's a big clock to remind passengers heading north or south to be on time for their journeys. Tianjin was among the first Chinese cities to adopt the modern standard time system. As in the rest of China, it has marked out the rhythm of people's lives ever since. Every passenger entering and exiting Tianjin railway station passes by a second, even bigger timepiece, one of quite unusual appearance. 40 meters high and weighing 170 tons, the Tianjin Century Clock has been one of the city's chief landmarks since it was installed here to mark the beginning of the new millennium. Its design features elements from different world civilizations, testimony to Tianjin's international character. Surrounding the face of the clock are bronze reliefs of the 12 different signs of the Western zodiac. The hours are marked by Roman numerals, while the year of the clock's manufacture is printed in Arabic numbers. Lastly, displayed prominently on the clock's face are the 2 Chinese characters for Tianjin. Together, the fusion of elements on this clock can be seen as an expression of the city's desire to run in unison with the world. Tianjin was in fact one of the earliest Chinese cities to take on modern Western industry. In the mid-19th century, as a result of the Second Opium War, it was forced to open as a commercial port, and from then on, it attracted a continuous inflow of foreign capital. Later, Tianjin also became the center of domestic reform efforts by the Qing government, known as the self-strengthening movement. Factories, warehouses, hotels, and financial institutions were built one after another along the banks of the Haihe River. This red building complex is the Tianjin Cotton Mill Creative Industries Block. One of its precursors was the Baochang Cotton Mill, which, some 90 years ago, became the first workplace in China to implement the 8-hour working day. With the arrival of capital-intensive manufacturing, a round-the-clock system of 3 shifts for workers to keep machines running night and day was introduced. This was regarded as the most efficient way to operate a factory. With a shorter working day, employees have since had more leisure time to enjoy life after work. The 73-kilometer Haihe River was once the busiest waterway in northern China. In recent decades, however, international shipping has moved out to big coastal container terminals. Cargo vessels no longer enter urban areas, and the wharves and warehouses that once lined the Haihe River have disappeared. Around 20 low bridges have since been built to connect the two sides of the river, giving the city a whole new look. Some of the new bridges have been built in a way that echoes the Haihe River's past. This ship's mast design, for example, uses an old-fashioned structure in a contemporary way. It's a modern theme for a forward-looking metropolis. Further along, Da Guangming Bridge is a popular location for wedding photos. Locals believe that whoever has their pictures taken underneath the statue of a mounted archer will enjoy a lifetime of love. The archer's arrow is missing its head, however. Perhaps it's traveling across the city in search of new targets. This lifting bridge was built in 1927. Whenever a large vessel approached, its gears started turning to lift the two halves of its central span into the air, as if opening its arms to welcome merchant vessels from all over the world. Originally, it was called the Wanguo Bridge, meaning bridge connecting thousands of countries. In its time, it was the crown jewel of bridges over the Haihe River. With the founding of the People's Republic in 1949, the bridge was renamed Jiefang, meaning liberation. This bridge hasn't been opening up routinely to allow ships to pass through for the past 50 years. Instead, it has taken on an ever-increasing volume of motor traffic. As night falls on the 1st of July 2019, it's time for a special event. 93 years after it first opened, Jiefang Bridge will open again to mark the 90th anniversary of the Communist Party of China. People have been gathering on both sides of the river since around 4 p.m. A scene from Tianjin's past is about to unfold before their eyes. As is happening today, Jiefang Bridge now opens on important occasions to mark the joys and glories of this great city.